Well, moving on to our next session. The topic is procurement at multiple speeds, how modular solutions power local agility and global scale. We have Mr. Pratik Thakore, COO Powerweave Group. To tell you a little more about Mr. Pratik, he brings over 24 years of global experience in driving strategic initiatives, business operations, product innovations, and CXO level engagements. He has a strong focus on digital transformation, particularly in the areas of e-commerce procurement and business operations. What began with just 4 associates under his leadership has now grown into a multidisciplinary team of over 2,000 experts across North America, Asia, and the GCC. Inviting you on stage, Mr. Pratik, and can we have a big round of applause for him, please? Thank you.
So if I don't look anything like that photo, it's because that was taken 20 years ago. Yeah, just about 5 years after I joined Powerweave. And it's always flattering to get such an introduction. Some of the things you said I don't know about myself, but that's how others see you, I guess. And a great presentation earlier, and he came to a particular slide where he spoke about not everyone wants to implement the complete platform all at once, right? And that's what we are focusing on today. That we are living in a world where despite everything becoming standard, in most cases, the last mile is always custom. And that's where a majority of our customers face challenges. How do you solve that last mile problem? How do I make this specific to my region? If it's specific to my region, how do I make it specific to my needs? My company only works like this. This is how we've been forever. We can't change processes. How do I ensure that the outcomes I want are met specifically for my custom needs? We are working currently with a customer, shouldn't call him a customer yet, a prospect in the UAE. They are in real estate. And they have a very complicated RFP process, RFX process. But that's their process. And they've been doing it for the better part of 15 years now. They work with Oracle Fusion, that's their procurement cloud. And when they went to Oracle with their requirement, they said, of course, this is possible, we can do this. And then they got the estimate, at which point they realized it's not possible. It's possible only if you pay 6 figures. And it's possible if you're willing to wait for 12 months, because that's when they'll put it in their backlog, bring their consultants on board. What we believe is that these are the problems that we want to solve, right? We are not the Ariba, we are not the Coupa, we are not the Oracle Fusion. Think of us as a symbiote. We work with all of these systems and many more to provide you answers for your real-world situations. All of you know procurement is not one process, it's many processes, it's many sub-processes, it's many sub-units. You've heard all of this millions of times. You do this day in and day out. But what does it actually mean? When do centralized systems fall apart, right? What happens if there's a UX gap? In my organization, I joined the company 25 years ago. I was the first employee. And there was hardly anything to procure. We were 3 people. Today, we are 2,000. We are spread across God knows how many locations. Plus, we have at least 800 people working from their houses. And everything suddenly became very complicated post-COVID when we had to procure 1,200 laptops overnight. We had a system, it's a homegrown system that we were using for centralized IT procurement, but it didn't work for us. And that's when we realized if it doesn't work for us at such a small scale, how are other companies going to deal with this? How do I get to my second problem, which is the rapid supplier onboarding? Everyone wanted machines at that time, but we wanted 1,200 overnight. So how do I get to suppliers? How do I get to a database of vendors who are trusted, who are vetted, who we know are actually in business, and have gone through a certification process that we require. We didn't know. These are some of the things that we have actually built into the system now. We have vendor onboarding, vendor evaluation, vendor certification, all of those things that can happen offline, but be plugged into the platform and be available on a need basis for all of you. Specific workflows. When we talk about workflows, I mentioned earlier that countries have workflows, departments have workflows, sub-departments have workflows. And if you're working with a centralized system, the chances are that building that customization is either going to cost you a lot of time or a lot of money, most probably both. And that's where companies fall into the trap of, I'm going to build my own module. I'm going to use a few people from my IT team to customize A, B, C, and then I'll integrate it with whatever I have. And now, suddenly you've built in the overhead of managing not only your system, but everything that you've built for it with probably not the best resources who had to do it. Local ESG regulations, as all of you know, that's an encyclopedia in itself. And our platform actually works with another platform called Snowcap. So we also have a partner network where the whole ESG compliance, ESG certification is built in as part of the process. What is the modular procurement advantage? So, like the previous speaker said, there are modules available which you can plug in. They are purpose-built. We can do quick pilots and we can scale on demand. I'll tell you about one of the quick pilots we did. One of the customers we work with in Europe is a seller of premiums, promotional products, premiums, merchandise, and they are the fulfillment hub for companies such as Google, IBM, Maersk Global, etc. for premiums and merchandise goods. They wanted a digitized system which would work on top of their procurement platform, which would allow them to create digital interfaces for all these customers to come in and procure premiums and incentives. Was Ariba going to do it for them? Of course they were. But was Ariba going to do it for them in the time that they had? Maybe not. In the budget they had? Definitely not. So our solution allowed them to build, over a period of 8 months, 60 online stores which functioned like your typical e-commerce stores and allowed users at Maersk and Google and IBM just to come in, pick the premium they want, it goes to their fulfillment center, boom, they ship it out. And it just solved all the problems because it integrated directly with their platforms. It gave them all the reports they needed, all the analytics, which customer is buying which products, which are not being used, what inventory level should I have for X, what should I keep printed and ready, what should I discard for the next cycle. Scaled on demand, I think it's self-explanatory, but we have built our platform in such a way that it's okay if you have a portfolio of only 20 indirect procurement items you want to bring or 2,000. And we've partnered with AWS, with Rackspace, with IBM for our hosting, and the actual platform is built in a way such that it's scalable on demand. The same way with our people, we have a bunch of people who have been in the procurement space for specifically the indirect procurement space for an average of more than 5 years, and our sustainability team has an average of more than 6 years experience. We have also built in the trendy word today, which is agentic AI, but we use it for support. The bots actually get trained according to your requirements, and they can be trained to answer internal queries, vendor queries. They can be told to manage simple interactions which otherwise require humans, such as statuses, such as knowing where a certain item is in the whole workflow. We have also built RFQ automation. We have used generative AI for document analysis. So if your vendor is actually uploading data which is supposed to be for, say, their POSH policy, and someone at their end actually uploaded the IT policy, our AI bot will automatically tell you that, dear sir, dear madam, this is really not your POSH policy. This is the IT policy. Please look at it, re-upload. And it actually evaluates vendors on this basis. So you get a real-time analysis of which vendors are compliant, which vendors are not, which vendors are providing information on time, which vendors are not. Similarly, we have done the same for ESG compliance, whether we talk about SASB, GRI, all of the various certifications and compliances that exist. We have built our document management system on AI such that it can map against these policies or these compliances and give you an output of whether the vendors are compliant or not. It also provides insights and information into what is needed for them to become compliant. And it provides scoring on the basis of that. I'll talk about a small case where we have done agentic automation. And this is a company that is currently a manufacturer of hard goods. They're based out of North America. And they process anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 orders a day. They work with vendors in China, India, Bangladesh, and parts of Europe for their raw materials. And as you can imagine, because of this, they work with disparate systems, multiple languages. They work with currency support, which is not uniform. And their problem, a majority of the times, was that their production team, their factory, always wanted to know the status of the raw materials being dispatched, when they're expected, when they're going to be landing at the dock, when they go into customs, and so on. This was a completely manual process. We actually built agents for them, which would work along with shipping systems, along with systems such as FedEx, UPS for the last mile, and provide automatic translation for their factories or their raw material providers to be able to provide inputs in real time. This led to cycle times being shifted from 48 hours of a response to literally 4 hours of a response. And we're happy to present to you or discuss that with you in detail if you want to know more about it. But that's some of the things that we have been able to do with agentic automation. I'd like to provide a small case study here. There's an FMCG global we've been working with for the better part of 12 years. Initially, it started off as a pilot, which was implemented only in one region in Asia. And then it was expanded within Asia to Vietnam. And then now it's across 58 countries globally, with some of the countries having users who did not know how to operate computers, who were still working on Windows XP. And they basically did not know at that point of time when we started implementing their system, our system for them rather, what their indirect spend was. It was focused on premiums, POSMs, a certain type of cabinets that freeze things. Obviously, I cannot say the exact terms right now. And in addition to that, on-demand material which would be used for marketing, which is not directly POSM, but is in that category. We actually, when we onboarded, they had 15,000 products, and they had similar products with a marginal deviation. which were being just bought because that's how procurement always worked and that's how marketing always worked. Over a period of the first 18 months, we were able to consolidate this from 15,000 to 6,000, 8-ish thousand. Over the period of time, we have now brought it to 3,000, which is where it has stabilized. We've actually onboarded over 5,000 of their suppliers, trained them onto the platform, including the users who didn't know how to use a computer. One interesting case study, internal case study with them is that they realized that one of their largest POSM providers was actually only 60% of the overall POSM they were buying in a particular region, and there were 6%, 8%, 10%, X% being bought from smaller vendors. Being able to just see this information on a dashboard allowed them to talk to this vendor and say, hey, we need consolidations. Why don't you talk to these smaller vendors? What happened as a result of that is that in 2018 or 19, that vendor actually bought over these companies and now provided the scale that these disparate companies were otherwise not able to provide, bring them the benefit of cost and the benefit of consolidation. We handle anywhere between 8 to 10,000 support conversations with them because ours is a managed and hosted platform. It's not that you take it, now you manage it. We do everything for you, including the training and adoption. Estimates say that because of consolidation, because of product consolidation, supplier consolidation, bringing efficiency into the overall indirect procurement process for these categories, we have saved them anywhere between 35 to 40 million. This has been done by my marketing team, so it shows 42 million, a very precise number, but I'm saying it's more in the 35 to 40 million range. We are expanding to more countries. We've been able to provide them anywhere between 5 to 15% of savings, depending on the region, for those categories. This is another case study. This is a retail company for whom we have done an e-tendering solution. Again, they work with Coupa. They already have a very good e-tendering module that they can use, but it did not meet the requirements they had because they had processes which were outside the system. They had manual processes. They had emails taking over, and they needed something that would bring all of this together. So we actually made all of those emails into templates, made all of those manual conversations into drop-downs, into checkboxes, and we created a module for them which actually worked with Coupa. We don't replace it at all. Over the implementation cycle, we actually were able to prove to them that the tendering cycles from where they were, there was at least a 25 to 30% saving overall in the time. The biggest thing for them was the reduction of manual effort, the email to and fro. Humans just constantly being involved in the process throughout, just talking to vendors, all of that which was now managed through the platform, and the traceability. Did anyone change anything? Who wrote this? Who approved this? All of this was now trackable through the logs. This literally from the time we finalized the specs post our initial discussions and got a beta version for them ready to start using to the internal evangelizers was 3 weeks. No exaggeration. We can actually show you this live. What are the key takeaways? According to us, yes, I know, I'll be done in 2 minutes. But I started 3 minutes late, so. The modular is not a feature, it's a mindset. Build systems that adapt, scale by need, not by force. Respect local needs, but deliver global results. I'll let you read this, I don't need to read it, but it's how do we make it work? And the question doesn't end there. How do we make it work for everyone? That, we believe, is the modular way and the advantage. I'm open for questions, after which I have a special document that we prepared, which I'll give you a QR code and you can download. Or then all of you can go to lunch because you'll be hungry. Okay, so this is the AI in procurement guide for enterprise leaders. You can scan and download your copy. It's available for all of you. It's very, very helpful, and you'll find it fun to read if nothing else. I'll shift. Okay, thank you everyone. Enjoy lunch. Oh, should I stay there? Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pratik. I would like to call on stage Mr. Sandeep Pratap to please felicitate Mr. Pratik.